My name is Melissa Hurt, and in this video I am going to share a yoga sequence specifically for postnatal yoga, for postpartum women, so that you can very safely build your core back up. So I have another video on my channel about stabilizing and strengthening a weak core safely. Please look at that. Also look at my other videos on the pelvic floor and on diastasis recti if you're postnatal. All of those videos will inform intelligent choices for rehabilitating yourself in mind, body, voice, and spirit. So I'm going to start by lying down, semi-supine, meaning your feet are on the ground, they're hip distance apart, which is your sitting bones apart. I'm going to keep my knees bent, I'm going to lay back. My ponytail is high, so I'm not lying on it. That's important. You don't want to lie in a ponytail because that'll mess up your neck alignment. So I'm going to start by rocking my pelvis to and fro with my pelvic floor contraction and release exercises. So I'll just start by warming up, getting to feel my breath and this moving body. Again, if my pelvis were a bowl of soup, I'd be pouring the soup down towards the floor in the front here with more space in my low back. As I bring my pelvis back, the soup is now pouring down the back line. So rocking to and fro here, the tailbone is pointing more towards the floor. Now the tailbone is pointing towards the hollows of the knees. And as you're rocking the pelvis, let's add the pelvic floor contraction and release exercises. So as I inhale, the tailbone is pointing down, everything is relaxed. Exhale, I contract the pelvic floor, tailbone towards the knee hollows. Inhale, release. Exhale, contract. Let's do 3 more of these together. Good. So now from here, come back to a neutral spine. I'm going to roll onto my side, keeping my knees and my shoulders and my hips in line with each other, so I'm not overly twisting. I'm going to come to sit in easy pose. I've got my folded blanket. I'm going to scooch up onto it so my pelvis is in a nice alignment. And I'm going to keep my ribs in line with my pelvis. I'm not flaring my low ribs out. And from here, I'm just going to find my birthday candle exhalation, which you've seen on other videos with me, just to get another level of that deep core conditioning with the breath. So let's do, on the S exhalation, we'll do 5. You can do more if you like, but we'll do 5 together. So we'll inhale together. The last 2 will add that pulse. Come back to natural breathing. Notice that the quality of the S on that exhalation stays the same from beginning to end. That's what you want. You want it to be consistent. So from here, let's come onto all 4s. I'm going to move my blanket off to the side. I will need it later, so I want to keep it close. But from here, let's do some cow-cat flow vinyasa movements with that pelvic floor contraction and release. So my hands are under my shoulders, my knees are under my hips. I'm going to inhale, lengthen my breastbone long, relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, cat pose, contract the pelvic floor. We'll do 9 more of these together, so for a total of 10. Sure you're moving at the same rhythm of your breath, you're not rushing. More. Be sure you're releasing your pelvic floor on every inhalation. Good. On your 10th and final one, just come back to a neutral table, feel the length of your spine. And we're going to now tone and warm up the back line of the body in locust pose. Now I'm going to use a blanket to model how you would do this if you're nursing or if you have an ample chest and it just doesn't feel good to be on your breast. So you'll take your blanket. This is a nice wide rectangle. It's fairly thin. And I'm just going to fold it once more. And I'm going to lay down with this at my breastbone, right below the breast line. So let's move it back. And so if I'm nursing, my mammary glands would be full with milk and they're not going to have the pressure on the floor. So I'll lay down here. I'm going to have my arms at either side of the body. My feet are together and I'm just going to rest my head down. I'm going to take a breath in, and as I exhale, I'm going to lift up the chest, shoulders are rolling back. I'm feeling nice and long in the spine and strong and stable in the back line of the body. Lowering back down. Inhale, exhale, rise up. We'll do 3 more of these together. And just see if you can keep your feet down. Keeping that length in the breastbone as you rise up is important. Good, now from here, let's bring the hands to either side, underneath the shoulders. And I'm going to push up, coming back into table. I'm going to move my blanket off to the side. And we're going to do a little bit for the hips. Now you might think, why are we doing hips for a core practice? Well, we want to stabilize the pelvis, right? The pelvis supports and it's where the pelvic floor is. And so if your pelvis is really loose and unstable, especially if you're postpartum, you want to strengthen and stabilize the muscles that surround the pelvis. So I'm going to come onto my side, and we're going to actually do some movements from the Pilates tradition. So first we'll do clamshells. So I've got my knees bent 90 degrees. I have my heels together, my knees together. My hips are stacked top to bottom. And I'm going to just rest my head on my hand. And I'm going to place my other hand in the back pocket area. That's where you're going to feel the muscle activation. So I'm going to just keep the heels together, open up the legs, and bring the knees back together. We'll do 10 of these. You will feel this. If you don't, kudos to you, because I feel it. We're targeting a very specific muscle here, group of muscles that are supporting the weight of the leg as I bring it up. I think that's 6 for me, but I've lost count. I'll keep going. I'll do 3 more. feel it yet? Don't we love feeling strong? Okay, so now I'm going to take my top leg, I'm going to swoop my hand underneath to help out, bring my foot down, straighten that bottom leg, and I'm going to lift the bottom leg 10 times. My foot is active, and I'm lifting the leg with that inner thigh muscle, which is actually part of the deep core fascial line. We want to strengthen our inner thighs. It does attach at the same place where the pelvic floor connects, so of course everything works as a system and is connected. Keep breathing here. Once again, I've lost count. I'm going to say this is 10. You want to do 10. And then from here, I'm going to bring out the top leg. This time I'm going to pivot my toes downward. And then I'm going to lift from here 10 times. Keep your toe down. So again, we're targeting the outer hip. Keep reaching through that foot. No lazy legs here. Keep active. Okay, I think that's 10 on this side. So now I'm going to bend my knees, let my hands help my torso up, switch sides. Just take your time to find your alignment. Knees are at 90 degrees, heels and knees are stacked together, and we'll do 10 clamshells. You might feel tighter on one side than the other. That's normal. Just notice it. Don't rush through these either. Give that contraction some time. All right, I think that's 10. So now I'm going to let my hand help the top leg come over, straighten the bottom leg, and I've got my inner thigh lifts, 10. Again, keep that leg active, reaching through the heel. And then from here, that's after 10, we'll bring the top leg out long, point the toes down, 10 leg lifts. Again, keep the leg active. Nine and 10. Okay, so now from here, I'm going to let my hands help myself push up. Come back into easy pose just for a moment. I want to stretch and open up and lengthen the sides of the body. The oblique muscles are on either side of the core. They're part of your core. So let's just reach up and over. Get some nice length here. Inhale. Exhale, come to the other side. Feels so good. Just to open things up. Good. Let's just do one more on either side. We're about to come into strengthening the oblique muscles, but it is nice to lengthen them out, kind of feel where we're going, keep our awareness in the body. Of course, keep your awareness with your breath and how it moves your body. All right, so now we're going to come into a modified side plank. So for here, I'm going to start by having my legs bent. They're stacked just like we did for the clamshells. I'm going to come onto my forearm here. So my hand is in a nice straight line from the elbow, elbows under the shoulder. I'm going to lengthen the bottom waist so I'm not collapsed. Lengthen the waist, keep my shoulders nice and stacked, and then just bring the hips up. So this is where you start. you will feel the oblique muscles on to support this. You can always straighten one leg. I would keep it here to keep it a modified side plank. This is about as far as I'd go. Just keep your legs stacked. See if you can breathe here for 5 breaths. And then I'll lower down. Take a rest. We'll just do one more. You would go up to maybe, 4 sets of this if you wanted to really get a nice conditioning in for the oblique muscles. Okay, so we'll come up. Keep feeling the length of your waist. Bottom side of your waist is strong. Top part of the waist feels kind of squishy. I'm not doing anything to it. I want to be able to breathe fully as I do this. Good. Lowering back down. Change sides. Stacking the legs. Coming onto the forearm. Hand is in a straight line with the elbow. All right, I've got nice integrity of the waist. This waist is long, this waist is long, shoulders are stacked. I'm gonna come up. Keep that waist nice and long. Again, if I wanted to, I could bring that top leg out long. That makes it a little bit harder. Keep your head in line with the rest of your spine as well. No saggy necks here. So I'm gonna come back to the full modified version. Just breathe here, 5 breaths. And then lower down, just come to rest. Whew. Okay, let's do one more. Go ahead and come back up. 5 breaths. And you feel the strengthening that's happening there. It's awesome. Good, lower back down. And from here, let's come onto our backs. We're going to do an exploration, I call it semi-supine toe taps. We are really activating the deep recessive core muscle, the transverse abdominis with this next exercise. And it's very focused on the breath and awareness, and it's a subtle movement. So really bring your awareness in to feel what you're doing. So I'm going to lie down, have my hands resting alongside the body. Inhale, exhale, feel your breath. And I'm going to place my left hand on my low belly on the right side. And I'm going to lift the leg and see if I can lift the leg using the transverse abdominis. I'm not using the hip flexor, which you could feel more at that bony hip bone. Just go to the inside of that bony hip bone and see if you can lift the leg, if you can feel it happening with that TA muscle. So I'm going to inhale, exhale, lift, tap the toe out about 4 to 6 inches, bring it back in, release. Let's do, how about 6 on this right leg? So that was 1. Go slowly, mindfully. And if you want, you could take the leg out even further. See how that feels? Good, I think that's 6. Just kind of do a pelvic tilt just to release the low back and the low belly. And we'll do the other side. So now the right hand's at the inside of that left hip bone. Inhale. Exhale, lift and do a tap. Bring it back and down. We'll do 6 total. Might notice my breath is like the birthday candle breath. That I also do for toning the transverse abdominis safely. There's 6 on each side. So from here, let's come to sit up. I'm using my arms to help me. I'm going to grab my folded blanket. I'm going to sit on that nice folded edge as I come into staff pose, and we'll continue the birthday candle breath here. Just 10 breaths. Little yoga pan adjustment over the belly. We all need to do that, right? So placing the hands down. Low ribs are hugged in. I'm not collapsing, but I have a nice optimal alignment of the trunk. We'll do 10 total, that was 2. Keep your legs active, your feet active. Floating up to the crown of the head. Shoulders resting down. 4 more. I think that's 10. Okay, let's go into extended child's pose, just to release the spine. So coming back at the table, placing your hands and then edging the hips back to the heels, reaching through the long spine, long hands. Just rest. Breathe into your low back and your sides, your belly. So now from here, I'm going to float the crown of my head up. And we're coming to our final rest. I'm going to come into a seated meditation. If you want to, actually I'm going to do my seated meditation kneeling on my folded blanket, folded up like a bolster, just to show you a different option. But if you want to lie down, this is a perfect time to do it. We'll do our final rest together for about a minute, but you can stay for as long as you like. This is your chance to restore yourself, all right? So again, I'm just kneeling, have a nice upright, optimal alignment for the trunk. Adjust your props accordingly, and we'll sit here together. Feel the energy you've created from your practice. Tune into the strength that you have cultivated for yourself. Know that you are full of possibilities. You can get strong safely and intelligently without hurting yourself. And slowly rebuild yourself back to the strong, dynamic person you're meant to be. You can stay here for as long as you like, just connecting with yourself through your breath, feeling your spirit within, finding that inner quiet, inner peace. If you've enjoyed this practice today, do it every day. It's a safe practice you can do every day. Share it with your friends and family. There's a blog post below to read more about it. You can share that too. If you like what I'm offering, please subscribe to my channel. And comment below what you think of this practice. Be well, take care of yourself.